Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel. Chelsea news on a Friday. The big news that we've got to talk about today is the Champions League draw. I did a live stream, we reacted to everything as it happened. I'll leave a link to it in the description if you want to see both me and Eunice watching live and finding out we get Real Madrid in the Champions League. And a lot of people will look at this Champions League draw and say, Real Madrid, European champions, the most pedigree of any European club in the history of the Champions League European Cup competition. Absolutely, you are correct. They knocked us out of the competition last season, but we beat them the season before, and with the second leg at Stamford Bridge, you never know what can happen. I'm going to tell you today why I actually think this draw is not all that bad for Chelsea Football Club, because we're going to predict a little bit as to what's going to happen in this Real Madrid-Chelsea fixture on the same side of our draw. So nowadays in the Champions League, they do the draw for the quarterfinals and then they match up different quarterfinals to get the semi-final draw, and then they do the home team for the final. So if Chelsea do manage to beat Real Madrid, which I'll tell you why we will in a minute, we'll face either Bayern Munich or Manchester City, who you can argue are the two most wanted to avoid teams in the competition. I said it in the build-up in the stream. I was like, City are the team that I want to face the least. Bayern Munich are the team I second least want to face. And then it would have been Real Madrid. Then it would have been Napoli, Benfica, Inter Milan, AC Milan. And Chelsea, well, the Italian clubs have done all right, to be fair. AC Milan draw, I think, Benfica, or Inter draw Benfica, and then it's AC Milan, Napoli. So, last year, let's remember back under Thomas Tuchel. I know this is a massive sticking point here as to why some Chelsea fans have already written us off in this game. Under Thomas Tuchel, Chelsea matched up incredibly well against Real Madrid. We went there both years in a row with a three at the back system. And after a really poor performance last season at Stamford Bridge in the first leg, Karim Benzema was on fire in that game, and there was individual moments where we lost our markers, we lost our men. Real Madrid take a lead through, where you give them one sniff, even scoring 3 goals in the Bernabeu was not enough for Chelsea. However, when I look at the playing personnel that we have at the football club this year, yes, we've only won 3 games in a row, and before that, we didn't even think we'd be able to beat Dortmund. To even be sat here debating and speculating whether or not we can beat Real Madrid in the first place. We didn't think we were going to get it and be in the quarterfinal draw, but we are. And all of a sudden, over the course of the last week or so, 2 weeks nearly now, Chelsea have shown something different. And I think with the playing personnel that we have, beat Everton tomorrow, keep trying to build on a couple of good results in the games, I think, against Villa, Wolves and Liverpool at Stamford Bridge before that first leg in the Bernabeu on the 11th of April. And to me, there's no reason why, if Chelsea don't continue to build on this form, Chelsea show up in these big games in Europe. And if we go and play with a similar style to what we did under Thomas Tuchel last season, I know it would never happen, but GP, mate, pick up the phone, give Tuchel a ring, just say to him, like, what is the golden ticket to playing this Real Madrid side? When I watched that Real Madrid team against Liverpool, absolutely sensational at times in that first leg. Second leg, they didn't need to be sensational because Jurgen Klopp goes and puts James Milner in the team when he's desperate to go ahead and score 3 goals. So, awful management from Klopp, awful performance from Liverpool. Real Madrid didn't need to be great. Last season, Chelsea went there, and if it, in my opinion, wasn't for some poor refereeing, we would have gone and probably got the most famous victory in our European history and overturned a 2-goal deficit against Real Madrid to knock them out. I really think last year Chelsea didn't get the rub of the green when it comes to the decisions in the Bernabeu. It's difficult as well because when you go there, like I said at the beginning, there is that European pedigree. Real Madrid, the most successful club in the history of the European Cup. You go there and it's a natural intimidation, not just for the away side, but for the referees as well. And I do believe that does play a part in European football. As much as I think the standard of officiating is probably better than it is in the Premier League, there's also cards that are thrown around, branded about everywhere. So Chelsea need to be careful in that first leg, and I think if we manage to go there and get a draw, which I do think is a feasible result considering we won in the Bernabeu last season and we didn't lose when we played them in the Bernabeu the season before, when we won the competition and beat them at Stamford Bridge. If we go and get a draw, I think Chelsea might even be the favourites. And a lot of this is dependent on the results that we get in between now and that first leg. If Chelsea keep on building, the momentum that we'll feel is massive. When you look at the playing personnel at the club, there are so many talented players in this squad that Chelsea can absolutely match up against Real Madrid. Look at the way we've defended in this competition in the past couple of years. Even last season, we were great defensively in this competition other than individual mistakes at home to Real Madrid when we gave ourselves too much of a mountain to climb. With the home leg, in the second leg, I will always back Chelsea. Now, let's take a look a little bit further forward. Bayern Munich and Manchester City. The two teams that I said I wanted to avoid the most because I think these are the two strongest teams in the competition. Napoli are probably the informed team that everyone was looking at saying, we don't want to play these guys right now. They're 18 points clear in Serie A. Will they take their foot off the gas there? Focus on this competition? You can argue now they will. But Bayern Munich and Man City are both such formidable opponents. But again, if Chelsea beat Real Madrid, we're talking about momentum here. If it happens, I believe it can. I think it's better to be playing Real Madrid than Bayern Munich or Man City at this stage. Bayern and Man City play one another, one of them goes out. We have seen Chelsea do it against City before, but once again, the key thing is that Chelsea, if we get through, would be at home in the second leg, also in the semi-finals. So, Chelsea, if we're going to win the Champions League this year, it is going to need to be done the hardest way possible. We are going to have to beat Real Madrid, one of City and Bayern Munich, and probably Napoli or Benfica if we're looking at the strongest teams. And we've already beaten AC Milan. So, this is an incredibly difficult task. Graham Potter versus Ancelotti, if we're looking at careers, it's a mismatch. However, since those last three results that we've had, I have chosen to go down the route of optimism here on GBFC. Real Madrid are beatable. They weren't absolutely sensational in the second leg against Liverpool, amazing in the second half at Anfield, but Chelsea have got to give themselves the best chance we can by going to the Bernabeu and at least getting a draw. If Chelsea get a draw, I think we knock Real Madrid out of this year's Champions League, and then in the semis, who knows? Man City have bottled it before at the semi-final stage. We've beaten them in a final, and then Chelsea play Napoli in the final of the Champions League, and we win the match 4-2. So, I have just made the most silly predictions in the world, but Chelsea are going to win the Champions League again this year. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the major news stories of the day. I've got more for you though, so don't worry about that. We're going to be talking now about Gabriel Slonina. If you're still here, by the way, and you're going to watch the rest of today's Chelsea news, because we've got Everton tomorrow, and the match preview will be out later on today, then you're an absolute legend. Hit the like button, and if you're not yet subscribed to this YouTube channel, we are less than 700 away from the promised land of 250,000 Chelsea fans. At the moment, there is a strong possibility that Edouard Mendy, on the topic of Champions League, a man who was so pivotal for us when we last won the competition, Edouard Mendy could well be leaving the club this summer after being relegated to number 2 goalkeeper behind Kepa by Graham Potter. Chelsea are considering buying a goalkeeper, so that may impact Gabriel Slonina, who we have heard from various journalists in recent days that Gabriel Slonina is currently one of the top trainers at Chelsea Football Club. He goes to bed every night at 10 p.m. and he's one of the first in at training and one of the last to leave. A good sign for an up-and-coming young goalkeeper. As things stand, we'll be waiting until pre-season next year, or this year, sorry, to see if Slonina will go out on loan for the next season. The next story that I want to talk about today, Fabrizio Romano has been talking about Rafinha. Again, you know, we almost signed him last summer. Barcelona pipped us to him, and then we're like, do we really need to worry about it? And then at the beginning of this season, we're like, we could have done with Rafinha at some point. There are some reports circulating about Chelsea and Newcastle wanting to sign Rafinha. I'm sure Barcelona are very happy with Rafinha. So again, Let's see what happens with financial fair play, but Barca want to trust Rafinha for the present and the future. Chelsea have got Raheem Sterling. We've just bought Noni Madueke. We have got Reece James and Malo Gusto as wing-back or right-back options. Where does Rafinha fit into any of this? Can someone please tell me why Chelsea would re-enter the market to sign Rafinha again? After he already said last year he wanted to go to Barcelona. He was desperate. He got that move and he's doing well at Barcelona. Barcelona may need to sell players due to financial fair play reasons, but is it me? Or are some of these players that I'm seeing Chelsea linked with at the moment absolutely the wrong players? I really hope that we can start to tunnel vision our visions for summer signings. If you didn't see yesterday's video, I did a video talking about potential midfield options as number 6 options to partner Enzo next season in the midfield. Link to that in the description too. I want to see us going for these players, and I want to see us going for a top striker. Not more wingers. Mudrik's at the club still. Like, what is the point? Rafinha, am I missing something here? Is he really that good? Let me know in the comments down below. Those 2 stories we're going to add on to Chelsea, Real Madrid. Let me know your thoughts on the Champions League draw in the comments down below. See you guys later for the Everton preview. Come on, you Blues.